All right, you guys. So today we're going to talk about equivalent fractions, but we're going to find equivalent fractions in a different way. This is like a little trick that we're going to learn today in order to find equivalent fractions. All right. So we're going to look at this question. We're trying to see is 2/3 and 4/5 equivalent. All right. So we know that we can draw out 2/3, right? We can use our area model to see if they're equivalent. We can draw out a 2/3 candy bar and we can draw out a 4/5. And I know with a 2/3 candy bar, I'm going to shade in 2. And then when I draw out 4/5, they're going to be a little bit, my pieces are of course a little bit smaller, right? And then I'm going to shade in 4/5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can tell here that 4/5 and 2/3 are not equivalent because obviously 4/5 looks much greater than 2/3. Now the thing is sometimes we have a hard time drawing, right? And so I'm going to show you a quick trick without drawing in order to figure out if 2/3 and 4/5 are equivalent. So what you're going to do is you're going to set up 2/3 and 4/5 beside each other. So I'm going to write 2/3 and then I'm going to write 4/5. And this is called the butterfly method because what you're doing is you're cross multiplying, you know, like a butterfly wings basically, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply our denominator 5 times our numerator, which is 2. See how I cross multiply there? So we're going to say 5 times 2. What is 5 times 2? Great, 10. And I like to point my arrow up so that I can put my 10, I know my 10 goes above here at the top. All right, and now we're going to cross multiply our next numbers, which is 3, and we're going to go across, which is 4. And again, I'm going to point my arrow up so I know that I'm putting my answer above here. So what is 3 times 4? Great, 12. So I'm looking at these numbers. These are the numbers I'm looking at. I'm looking at 10. And I'm looking at 12. And I know 10 and 12 are not the same number, right? So that means I know that they're not equivalent. 10 and 12 are not equivalent. So that means 2/3 and 4/5 are not equivalent. So no, they're not equivalent. All right. So we can draw it out to figure out if they're equivalent or not, which obviously I saw that they're not equivalent. Or we can use this strategy called the butterfly method to see if they're equivalent. So let's look at another one. Let's see if 1/5 and 2/10 are equivalent. So I want to use a butterfly strategy to solve it. So I'm going to set 1/5 and 2/10 against each other. And then I am going to go ahead and do the butterfly method. So I'm going to do 10 times 1. I'm going to, and 10 times 1 is 10. And then I'm going to do 5 times 2. Sounds easy, right, you guys? And what is 5 times 2? Good, 10. So is 10 and 10 the same number? Yes, it is. So that means if 10 and 10 are the same number, that means 1/5 and 2/10 are equivalent. These are equivalent. So yes, these are equal. And just to prove, if I were to draw this out, I can prove to you that this is correct. So if I draw out 1/5, and then I want to draw out 2/10, right? So I'm going to draw out 2/10 also. This is a fifth. I'm going to split each one in half. And then I'm going to shade in 2. And this is 2 out of 10. And boom, they are equivalent. So 1/5 and 2/10 are equal. All right, so butterfly method is the way to see if fractions are equivalent. So we're going to look at a problem that mainly you'll see like on a test. And it says name the fraction that's equal to 2/5, right? So we're trying to figure out which of these fractions are equal to 2/5, A, B, C, or D. So in order to figure this out, what I do is, and what you can do, is set each answer choice against 2/5. So I'm going to start with 2/3, right? So I'm going to say, all right, 2/5 and 2/3. And I'm going to use the butterfly method to see if they are equivalent. So I'm going to do 3 times 2, which is 6. Then I'm going to do 5 times 2, which is 10. They are not equivalent. 6 and 10 are not equivalent, right? So I'm going to cross out A. Then I'm going to try B, which is 6/10. So I have to use the same fraction. This is the fraction I'm looking for to see if it's equivalent. 2/5 and 6/10. All right? So we're setting them against each other. I'm going to erase this so we won't get confused. And then I'm going to use the butterfly method again, right? So I am multiplying 10 times 2 first. What is 10 times 2? Excellent, 20. Then I'm going to multiply 5 times 6. What is 5 times 6? Great, 30. So obviously 20 and 30 are not the same fraction, right? I mean, not the same number. So that means 2/5 and 6/10 are not equivalent. So that means I have to go down to C. See how I'm working out every problem? That's what you have to do. So I'm going to go down to C and I'm going to say 2/5 and 4/10. All right, so when I cross multiply, 10 times 2, what is 10 times 2? Great, 20. Now what do I have to multiply next? Good job, 5 times 4. And 5 times 4 is 20. Ooh, 20 and 20, are they equal? Yes, they are. So that means that 2/5 and 4/10 are equivalent. So that means C is my answer. So 2/5 is equivalent to 4/10. And that's how you find your answer. All right, let's look at one last problem. So it says, Sharice and Levi are each painting a wall in their bedrooms, different colors. The walls are the same size. Sharice has painted 4/12 of her bedroom wall pink. That's important. Levi split her wall into 6 different areas and wants to paint the same amount of space pink as Sharice. How much of the wall should Levi paint pink? So I know that Sharice painted 4/12 and then Levi wants to paint the same amount. I know same amount is like equivalent fraction, right? So I need to figure out which one of these fractions are equal. Which one of these fractions are the same amount as 4/12, all right? So again, you're going to start with A, 4/6. So you're going to set it up against each other, 4/12 and 4/6. We're going to cross multiply. What am I multiplying first? Good, 6 times 4, which is 24. And then 12 times 4, which is 48. These obviously are not the same number, right? So obviously 4/6 is not equivalent to 4/12. All right, so now I'm going to look at 2/6. So 2/6 and 4/12. That is not 2/6, right? 2/4. There you go. 2/6, 4/12. All right, so I'm multiplying first. 12 times 2. What is 12 times 2? Great, 24. And what is 6 times 4? Great, 24. Is 2/6 and 4/12 equivalent? Yes, good. They're equal because 24 and 24 are equal. So my answer will be 2/6. So this is an easier way, instead of drawing, an easier way to find equivalent fractions. You guys did amazing today with finding the equivalent fractions.